Happy Friday, everybody. Today is Friday, June 4th, 2021. I hope you are doing great. I'm so happy that you're watching the video today. Hope you come back every Friday to watch these videos on planning. And then our Tuesday, our market update videos. I'm doing everything I can to try to keep good information coming out to you in different ways so that you can easily swallow and easily digest some of this stuff. So if you think of anything that you're interested in getting an update on or getting some more information on, please let me know and I'll try to bring that to you as well. So in the last few weeks, there's a lot that can impact our planning, and we're digging into that every day. I actually spoke to one of my clients' tax preparers yesterday. We discussed the proposals we spoke about last week's video about capital gains increases. So, retroactive to April of this year. And so basically that's the equivalent of changing the rules of the game after the game's already started. And so we haven't seen this before in the capital gains side. We have seen it in the actual income tax side, but we've never seen a retroactive capital gains change. I remain in the camp that I don't think you're going to see a retroactive capital gains change. I also don't think you're going to see at the levels that they're talking about over 40%. I do think that you'll probably see a 28% capital gains, which we've seen before, and you'll probably see that come January 2022. So we'll see how that goes. A lot to happen. If we do see that happen or something like that, we're going to stay in touch with you. We'll come up with some good planning ideas with the help of your tax professionals and work on that. So we're going to see what we can do with that. Stay tuned. I'm having a lot of conversation these days about how to plan for retirement assets in your estate plan. Now, remember, I recommend that we work with your tax advisor and your estate planning attorney to come up with a plan that's set to have your assets go where you want them to go. So just a few key points, and then let's talk about it. The real planning is really going to be in the details, and we can do that one-on-one. So I'll try to keep this brief. Please reach out and talk to me about this. I know that this is the type of planning that 99% of you never want to talk about, but I want to address it here because unfortunately over the past 28 years, I've dealt with many, many times where these distributions of assets, and it's never easy. It only gets more complicated, the new laws that continue to come about. So please, it's not the life insurance conversation, which is one that nobody wants to talk about, but we need to talk about that also. But this is a conversation that's also pretty important to talk about. So let's jump into a few items first, and this should sound familiar. Identify your goals. That really is the idea of, I've heard the retirement planning, estate planning goals. They go from everywhere from I want to leave as much money as possible to my kids, to I want to leave it all to charity, to I want the check to the funeral home to bounce. So where are you in all of that? That's the first thing to decide as to really what we want to accomplish with it. Once we know that, we'll be able to focus on a few main tasks. And again, just an overview today. Call me for more details. So the first thing, let's plan for your core needs first. Then let's plan for the excess capital that you'll have. This is not an easy calculation, but it's one that we can come up with some estimates on. And then we'll go from there. We want to make sure you calculate healthcare needs. Do you have long-term care coverage that's going to help with those? We also want to account for some of those unexpected needs. Once we get those numbers, we'll be able to talk about how to pass along the excess assets to your heirs. We want to establish a plan for your taxable assets. Now, as of now, there's a step-up basis, and that stepped-up basis is under attack in Congress. We'll talk about that. I think we talked about that last week's video as well. But you'll want to account for that in the possible changes in how we do the planning for that. So this may include your heirs getting taxable assets, and charitable gifts going through your retirement accounts. This is the top of the pile of possible changes in Congress. So again, it's not one that I think is going to change. We've talked about this in Congress. They've talked about this in Congress year after year, decade after decade. I don't see that happening, but we'll just have to see. Following up on that, we'll want to talk about the planning with your IRA accounts. Now, as the Secure Act from a couple of years ago, we've talked about this also, that it requires your heirs take out that money that is left to them in an IRA before the end of a 10-year period. Now, remember, just think about what that does. That means that if you leave your heirs, your children, $1 million retirement account, that all of that money has to come out within a 10-year period, and it's all going to be taxed at your children's ordinary income tax level. So again, there are some exclusions to that, but in most cases, that's what it's going to be. It's a tax time bomb. It's something we need to take into consideration. It's something we need to talk about. One of the possible ideas that people talk about at this point is converting to a Roth at this point during your lifetime. Now, again, that's not right for everyone, and it is something that you need to take into account the tax considerations on that as well. But again, something out there. So finally, we spoke about donor-advised funds in the past and their use. So I'll just add that donor-advised funds, qualified charitable distributions from your IRA, a few things that we're aiming to achieve your charitable intent along with tax efficiency. So again, this is complex material. Let's start the conversation. Let's bring your team of advisors together. Let's bring your tax advisor. Let's bring your estate planning advisor, and let's bring myself in together. Let's talk about what's going to go on with that. There's a lot of moving parts. I guess that's what keeps us on our toes. So I urge you, don't get caught up in the day-to-day of the market noise. I bring that to you on Tuesdays. Remember, that's the Tuesday video. It's a lot of the noise that's going on there. It's not for everybody, but it's much more important that we continue to have the conversation about your future and your goals. So let's be in touch about this. We're going to keep an eye on Washington. I don't think you'll see anything until late summer, but as we start to see, the eyes of the world and the news cycle move to other things, politicians are probably going to try to grab some headlines, and they'll talk about this, and you'll see that as they get back in there. So I'm here with you on that journey. We'll continue to keep an eye on that. I look forward to being in touch soon. Have a great weekend. It's going to be hot here in Chicago. I hope it's nice where you are. I don't want to miss the opportunity, as I have the last couple of weeks, to continue to wish congratulations to the graduates. Graduations are coming more every day, so it's an incredible time for all of us, everywhere from the young to the old, and it's just exciting time. So as the next step awaits you, as the famous Dr. Seuss likes to say, you'll move mountains. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.